What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel, where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If you're new to our channel, we welcome you to subscribe. Otherwise, you can like, share, or comment down below. It helps our content reach a wider audience, and we greatly appreciate the support. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about credit scores and credit profiles and the importance of having a clean credit profile before you start applying for credit. Now, one of the things that I see a lot is people applying for credit every time we do a review and not really preparing their credit profile to give them the highest chances of approval. Now, when it comes to your credit profile, there's certain components that you actually have control over. Now, number one is derogatory or negative information. So if you're paying your bills on time, then you won't have anything to worry about. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of Americans are having trouble with keeping up with their payments due to either a loss of income or inability to pay their bills. So as a result of that, negative marks and derogatories can come on your credit report. But one of the things you have to keep in mind is that before you go apply for credit, you have to handle that situation. So there's several ways of going about it, right? You could reach out to the creditor and do what's called a goodwill letter. That works sometimes, but it's not as effective. There are hundreds of templates online that you can go out and get. But one thing you have to remember about the templates is that templates that are online, there's thousands of people who use the same templates, right? So they're just inputting their specific information, their name, address, etc. But the rest of the wording of these dispute templates are the same. The credit bureaus catch on to this, right? Because they'll see a pattern of the same, structure of the letter, the wording of the letter. So sometimes it might work for early adopters. I know several years ago, the Section 609 letter was working, and there were a couple prominent people putting those letters out. But one thing about those letters is that it might work for one bureau, but it may not work for the other. So I wouldn't always rely on templates in order to get your credit fixed or get your credit restored. Because remember, if templates work for everyone, then there wouldn't be any credit repair companies. Now, one of the best credit restoration companies that I have personal experience with and dozens of testimonials is Crown Credit Pro. They've been in the business for 20 years. They're up to date with all the latest methods with getting items removed from your credit report, and they work within the Fair Credit Reporting Act to dispute negative and incorrect information on your credit profile. If you would rather work with a professional, you could definitely reach out to Crown Credit Pro. I've worked with them personally. They've been able to get a lot of things off of my credit report, including inquiry. If you have late payments, inquiries, collections, charge-offs, student loans, they can handle it all. But anyways, as I was saying, the things that you can control are the negative information. Number two is utilization. So you have control over the utilization that's reporting on your revolving accounts. Now you have to make sure that you pay down your balances before the statement close date in order to get the lowest balance that's reported to the credit reporting agencies. So utilization is something that can fluctuate. I wouldn't be too concerned about utilization because, again, utilization can change from month to month. You have direct control over that by paying down your balances. The third thing you have control over are new accounts and inquiries, right? So opening up new accounts or getting credit inquiries every time you apply for credit. Now, credit inquiries usually stay on your credit report for 25 months. So that's over 2 years. Now, there are ways of getting inquiries removed from your credit report. Now, as I said again, Crown Credit Pro is excellent at getting credit inquiries removed, especially ones that aren't tied to an account. So let's say you apply for a credit card and you get denied. You can dispute that inquiry and get it removed. And that's one of the things about applying for credit. The more inquiries you have in a short period of time, the lower your chances of getting approved. Now, and of course, certain institutions have their own definition or their preference for what they deem as a lot of inquiries. Some institutions aren't as inquiry sensitive, but a good rule of thumb is just to have low inquiries before you apply for credit, because when institutions see that you're applying for a lot of credit, that's seen as high risk in credit seeking, because most stable borrowers aren't necessarily applying for credit constantly. Now let's talk about credit scores for a second. So I know a lot of people use Credit Karma to keep track of their credit score. But one thing you have to remember is that Credit Karma uses what's called Vantage score. However, 90% of lenders use a different score model called Fico, and it might actually be greater than 90% because I haven't really come across too many lenders that actually use Vantage Score. I think the SBA might use Vantage Score, but besides that, I can't really name too many lenders that actually use Vantage Score in their credit decisions. So what I normally recommend is that you sign up for My Fico. I'll post a link in the description. So I'm gonna break down all the different types of credit scoring models within My Fico. And it's very important that you understand this, because depending on the type of credit product or the institution that you're applying with might use a different credit score. So you might think or look on Credit Karma and see that your credit score is a 750, but when you go on My Fico, you might check your Fico 8, which you have 3 different Fico 8 scores, right? That can vary depending on the information that's being plugged into that particular score model. So let's go jump over and check it out. All right, so here we are on myfico.com. Now, this is a client who has worked with Crown Credit Pro, and they gave us permission to just kind of share some of their results. So I wanted to first start off with just going through the different scores. So up here, we have Fico 8, which is the most widely used Fico version. And I just wanted to kind of demonstrate some of the differences because, again, this person is currently in progress, right? So everything hasn't been cleared up from their credit profile. Some credit bureaus have been cleaned up more than the others. So I just wanted to kind of show this as a use case on the importance of having a clean credit profile. But before that, I just wanted to show you guys the different types of FICO scores. So you have much more than just one FICO score. So right here, we're looking at the different FICO score versions. Now, on My Fico, they give you all of them. Right now, we're looking at just the Equifax, right? So you have FICO score 8 over here. Then you have FICO 5. So FICO 5, as a lot of subscribers know, is used a lot, especially with a lot of credit unions like to pull FICO 5. That's used more commonly in mortgage lending. Then you have the auto scores, right? So you have your FICO 8 auto, you have your FICO auto score 5. These both are out of 900. And then you also have your bank card score. So bank card scores are used specifically with credit cards, so revolving accounts. And then you also have some of the other versions. You have FICO 9, you have FICO Auto Score 9, and FICO Bank Card Score 9. So right here, you have 9 different FICO scores just that pull from Equifax data. Now, then we'll go to TransUnion, right? So there's a FICO 8 TransUnion. So with FICO 8, there's 3 different versions of FICO 8, one from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. But here you have FICO score 4. So whenever you see FICO score 4, you know that's pulling from TransUnion. So there's no FICO 4 for Equifax or Experian. It's only going to be for TransUnion. So whenever you see FICO score 4, you know it's for TransUnion. So their TransUnion is currently in progress, but there's still some derogatory information, which I'll show in just a second. You have Experian, you have your Experian FICO score 8. So when you see a FICO score 2, just know that that only pulls Experian. So there's no FICO 2 for Equifax or TransUnion. So FICO 5 is Equifax, FICO 4 is TransUnion, FICO 2 is going to be Experian, but FICO 8, there's one for each. So you have 3 different FICO 8 scores. So I just wanted to run through this real quick just to give you guys an idea of the different FICO scores. All right, so just to give you guys kind of a time frame, right? So they've been working with Crown for a couple months now, and actually it's been a couple months. And they first started off their journey, in the mid 600s. Then they started working with Crown, got some derogatories off their report. The derogatory information, as you can see before, when they had derogatory information, their credit score really didn't go above like a 730, right? The highest they were with derogatory information was like a 724. But when the derogatory information came off of their report, then you see it shoot up in like the 760s, and then all of this is accountable to utilization. Derogatory information, payment history, and then utilization are going to be the 2 biggest drivers of your credit score. So just having the derogatory information removed is going to be the biggest component. And then utilization, as I said, you can control that. So this basically shows exceptional payment history. Late payments, 30 days, 0, 60 days, 0, derogatory public record, 0. zero collections, zero delinquent accounts, 100% accounts always paid as agreed. Payment history, 35% of your FICO score. So that's very, very critical. Now let's look at the different bureaus. All right, so let's look at TransUnion. Now it's very good, but it's not exceptional. So they have one account that's reporting a 60-day late or 30-day late. There's no collections, no derogatories, and even right here, accounts always paid as agreed, 98%. So even at 98%, you would think 98%, when you're in school, that's an A plus, right? But when it comes to your credit, 98% is not good enough. 99% is not good enough. You need 100%. Now, even right here, it says time since most recent late payment, 40 months. So 40 months is about 3.5 years. So it's been about 3.5 years since the derogatory mark. But as you can see, it's still negatively impacting this particular person. So that's why I always stress derogatory information is critical. All right, so let's check out experience. So as you can see, the payment rating is only good because they have late payments of 30 plus days or more. So even though these accounts are closed out, just the presence of these accounts are negatively impacting their Experian credit profile. They have zero collections, time since most recent late payment, 69 months. So check that out. So 69 months. So 69 months is about almost 6 years, right? That's about 3 months shy of 6 years. So even if you have old accounts with late payments still present on your credit report, it's still negatively affecting you. So these accounts, again, are closed out, but they're closed out accounts with late payments. Even with this late payment being almost 6 years old, it's still affecting them. So you got to get those closed out accounts with late payments completely removed from your credit profile. All right, so let's recap real quick. The most important component of your credit profile is going to be your payment history. Now, even if you have old accounts that are no longer active, but they have late or derogatory information, even that being on your credit profile is still going to hinder you from getting approved in certain situations. Now, that's not to say that you won't get approved anywhere, but it greatly diminishes your probability of getting approved. So before you go about trying to make major purchases through credit, whether that's a credit card, whether that's a loan, a line of credit, a car loan, or even a mortgage, just make sure your credit profile is clear of any derogatories. Now, as I said, you could always try to figure it out and dispute it yourself. But if you want to work with a professional who's been doing this for 20 years, definitely check out Crown Credit Pro. Their information is pinned in the comment section down below. They've been in the credit space for over 20 years. I've personally worked with them in getting some things cleared up off of my credit profile. So I could certainly attest to Crown Credit Pro being able to deliver results. And because of Crown Credit Pro, I've been able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in available credit. Definitely check them out. And again, you can go online and get templates, but regardless of which way you decide to go, making sure that your credit profile is clear of derogatories is going to be the number one thing for you to focus on if your credit profile has that type of derogatory or negative information. The last point I wanted to make is the difference between Vantage score and Fico score. A lot of people get caught up on their Credit Karma score, but just remember, lenders are not looking at your Vantage score for the most part. As I said, 90% of lenders are going to be using FICO to make a decision. So just double check your FICO score, sign up for it. I think it's worth it to just know what your different FICO scores are. And there's different scoring models that are used with different lenders. So you could actually know before you even apply somewhere by understanding the data points that institution's using. So some institutions might use a specific scoring model. If you know that beforehand, then you'll know the exact credit score that they're going to pull. So that just gives you more insight. But anyways, that's all I wanted to share in today's video. If anyone wants to sign up for my FICO, I've posted a link down in the description. Anyone wants to sign up for Crown Credit Pro, information pinned down in the description. Until next time, y'all take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.